You've got to track your vote. Make sure that you vote early. If you're voting, if you're doing mail-in voting, if you are voting in person, it is really important that you go early, that you try to go on days, particularly weekdays in the early process. Weekdays seem to have a different kind of spread out. Early mornings, there's like flood times. They can almost tell you the early morning, the midday, and that late rush, there are rushes. If you go in between those times, if you go like between 11, like 11 to noon, or like particularly the slowest time actually is right after lunch, because a lot of people come to vote on their lunch. They go early, they vote on lunch. If you go really between like the lunch hours, that's like the low. Even the people in the poll workers, they can tell you, they know when the rushes are coming. That's when the rushes. I think that we're probably going to have a steady flow this entire year, but I think that what you can do is vote during those times that can minimize, but you have to show up and be socially distanced. Show up with a space. I'll tell you one of the things I did, because in the line that I was in, people were not socially distanced, and it was getting on my nerves so bad. I was like, and this was right before I caught COVID, and I was just like paranoid. I took my chair, my outdoor chair, and it was like my marker. Like, this is my barrier right here. I'm going to stand right here. And my chair was behind me, and it created space in a way that I didn't have to constantly be telling people to move or X, Y, Z. So I think, and then having your mask, for the most part, because many times you're outside or you're in open spaces, I think that it's pretty safe. I think it's actually pretty safe to be able to vote in person if you take the right precautions. And so in many ways, we have been encouraging folks, if they can, to vote in person, but we also have to be mindful that everybody does not have the same kind of health circumstances and situations. So because of that, we're supporting all of those elements. I do want to say the energizing and the young voters piece, I'm going to try to speak to that real quickly, that part of what we have to do in terms of why young voters are turned off from the process, because they don't see the connectivity. Right. And I mean, do we blame them? The truth of the matter is we get frustrated with the process ourselves. So instead of I'll just say our quick strategy, what we do with Black Voters Matter is we're honest with folks. That when people tell us on the street that, well, I don't want to vote because I don't think my vote counts, we don't try to evangelize them. It's kind of like somebody that's in a religion and they tell you you're wrong if you don't believe their religion, right? But that we don't try to evangelize them. What we do is we say, we understand, we affirm their feelings. We understand how you feel that way. Matter of fact, the truth of the matter is I felt that way myself too, right? But tell me what it is that you care about. I have never met a person that didn't care about anything. And they're getting a conversation about what it is that they care about. And then you listen to them like, okay, you care about that. What is it that you want to see? Oh, well, I want to see them stop locking folk up because whatever. I was like, you know who does that? Oh, it's the DA or the judge. Do you know how the DA gets in position? Right? They get voted in. And so what it does, the bottom line is what it does is I make a connection to what it is that they care about on fundamentally breaking it down to how them voting is a connection to that, how voting impacts that.